It's 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order and join Charles Alderson for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Dr. Pollard will lead us in a prayer.
Would you bow with me? Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight and help us to make some good decisions and honor some young people and some staff alike. And Lord, we're grateful for this school year and how you've kept the children safe, and we just hope that we have a safe and healthy rest of our school year as well. In your name we pray, amen.
We begin with something from the Gatesville Messenger.
Yes. Caitlin Smith is here, and she's got a big check. So Caitlin, come on up here. So you guys have been selling the GHS football posters.
Yes.
And you have a check for Coach Hunter here for
Yes.
the football program.
I also have an award for him as well.
Oh, great. On a award.
They
Wow.
killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah, great.
So he also got best coach in Gatesville.
Great.
And then we got a check of $2,300 for the football boys, and so Dave, we're gonna get a photo so we can put this in the paper.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate it.
Aaron, what are you going to spend that money on?
I'm sure it'll be spent on chocolate milk, Subway. Those kind of shoes. We tend to spend a lot of money on that stuff.
Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
y'all very much.
That's good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you all. Thanks, Caitlin. All right. Next up, we have a student spotlight. Is Alex here? Yeah, Alex is here. Alex is no stranger to the boardroom. He's been honored before, and he's been making news here recently. He is a National Merit semifinalist, and so that's due to really good ACT and PSAT scores. In fact, he had a 35 on the ACT, he had a 1460 on the SAT. Outstanding scores. Calvin could never get anywhere near that. And so we had honored him previously because he, of course, was all-star caster even when I played, but he had received the College Board designation of National Rural and Small Town Award. And since then, he's become the student body president, the senior class president. He's the drum major, and he may have, I think, possibly the hardest schedule at Gatesville High School. All of his classes are, Alex, what all are you taking this year?
I'm taking a bunch of college classes, like
Yeah.
government, economics.
And all the on-ramps courses, so extremely difficult schedule. And he spends a lot of time with the band, and then if you're driving through McGregor and stop at Bush's Chicken, he'll wait on you there. So he's a busy guy. So we want to congratulate him, and we've got a certificate for him, and we just appreciate him taking time out of his very busy schedule to come up here. So y'all give Alex a round of applause.
Can I bring his favorite teacher up too?
Yes, you can, yes. Yeah, anybody that wants to take a picture with Alex, come on up.
Okay.
Dr. Pollard, I know from experience that he's also a good friend
Yes.
He is
Yeah.
good.
to his friends.
All around great kiddo.
Well liked.
Thank you.
Good job.
And we hope that Alex becomes a finalist. And so,
I hope so too.
yeah, that'll be good. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, our staff recognitions are none other than Pam Williams and Michelle Martin. And so those two are always getting into something and coming up with different ideas of ways to help the student body. And they have been very busy. Some of these stats I've given y'all before, but they're worth mentioning again. Like even this week, there's dental clinics, I think, the next 2 or 3 days. They're planning another Christmas on Marshall. The back to school bash just keeps growing and growing. This past summer, 347 pairs of shoes, 350 backpacks, 150 lunch kits, 75 haircuts, 46 physicals, and 45 vision and hearing screenings. You know, they've calculated sometimes how much money that saves the parents, and it's a ton. It's really a ton. And so they've also, their latest initiative is they have a whole school supply room over at the primary. It's one whole room dedicated just to supplies. So if a kid or a teacher needs something, the teacher actually can just make a request. It's like DoorDash. And they send it to Michelle and Pam, and some of the high school students are helping to run that store. And so if you need 20 rulers, the kids bag it up, they get it together, and they take it to the teacher. And so it's really a great convenience. And they've been going to Wellman and World Vision and all these places up in the Metroplex and coming back with trailer loads full of stuff. And so they're really helping grow that, because we want to get to a spot where maybe potentially parents buy very few school supplies at the beginning of the year. You know, that most of it would be taken care of. So that's a pretty audacious goal, but Pam and Michelle are making good progress towards that. And then I'll hold off on the most recent thing, because they're going to present tonight on their most recent thing that they've gotten a grant for, which is really exciting. But Pam, Michelle, y'all want to add anything? No? Okay. Well,
Hey,
you
Dr.
guys-
Paula, I would say, I actually went to that Christmas on Marshall Street.
Uh-huh.
That was unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was a fun time. Yeah. Well, guys, y'all come on up. Y'all give them a round of applause. Take our picture for the paper.
Can you hold up your certificates?
Oh,
Thank you. Okay, got it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all. And like I said, they'll be back up here in a few minutes to talk about something really neat that they've got in the works.
Do we have anyone signed up to speak? Okay, not having to do that, we'll go to a consent agenda. These are items that we routinely just accept unless one of the board members sees something they want to pull, and we vote en masse. Minutes of the August 19th meeting, minutes of the August 27th special meeting, financial statements as of August 31st, bills and payrolls for August 24, quarterly investment report as of August 31, vital signs report, food service report, drug-free senior party contribution, and senior prom contribution. Does anybody need to pull any of those? There are a motion to accept them. Linda? Do I have a second? Okay, Mary Ann? Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Information items, athletic participation numbers.
So Coach Phillips is here tonight. I think he's going to come in with some numbers on how all of our sports programs are growing and doing quite well.
Good evening. On the board, well, maybe not. Our participation numbers right now for the fourth year in a row have climbed to over 700. High school and junior high boys and girls, 745 is a pretty good count. It's down a little bit from last year, but it is still a good number to have. And those things continue to grow. On the sheet you have up there, it has our high school girls totals, high school boys, and the same thing for junior high girls and boys too. So glad to have as many kids participating as we can. Our numbers are good in our programs, and we feel like if we can get kids to participate in athletics and other extracurriculars, we can help keep them out of trouble as much as possible. So glad about that. Next item on there, we have four senior athletes that have verbally committed to play collegiately. Two softball players, Kinley Gardner and Rayleigh Glover, are going to Navarro College and Weatherford College respectively. Casey Fitzer is going to play tennis at Abilene Christian. And over the weekend, Avery Streetman committed to play golf at Laterno University. So we have four right now, and we'll likely have 3 or 4 more before the school year is done. So this may be our biggest class ever of signees. So glad for those athletes, glad for their parents too. They put a lot of time into it. And then finally there at the bottom, just some fall sport updates. It's going well. We're hosting the district cross country meet here on October 7th. For chances to go to regional. Our boys and girls teams have done well. We've had several medalists in the boys and girls races, and feel like we'll do well at the district meet here. Team tennis is currently tied for second. They have a big match here tomorrow night with Brownwood. Football, Coach Hunter, they're currently 3-1. Big game Friday at Burnage. And then volleyball is currently 19-9 overall, and they start district play Friday at Conley. So we're well into our district seasons with all of our sports, or if not, we're getting that way this week. So a lot of good things going on. That's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
Hey, you said Casey Fisher is going to Abilene Christian. Was it
Yeah.
Ashton Christian or Hardin Simmons?
It's Hardin Simmons. It's Hardin Simmons in Abilene.
Coach Hunter said he wished his football schedule was tougher.
Yeah.
Actually, so today we came out 25th in the state today.
Wow.
And we're 4th in our district.
That's right. Yeah, very tough schedule. They're doing well. All the sports are doing really well.
The kids going for the college play, are they on scholarships?
Some are getting some are getting a little more.
Yeah.
That's been nice to see, because
Good.
I think a lot of those kids, Lloyd, they realize they may not be a D1 kid, but they can go to different places and get some money,
Sure.
academically and also athletically. So we have some kids that are getting quite a bit of money right now. Like I said, we'll have 4 or 5 more before the school year is done that commit as well. So it's been nice to see.
And that's really impressive in today's time, because a lot of colleges aren't even considering freshmen. With NIL and the transfer portal, I've heard from a lot of colleges they're not even considering freshmen. So it's impressive to have some kids go play.
Very good. All right.
Thanks for
Thank y'all.
Thank you. School resource store.
Do you have this? I have it on the library.
Okay, so this summer, Dr. Pollard, Dr. Harper, and I were talking, and as soon as I said something, they both rolled their eyes and said, okay, if you want to try, go ahead. I said, all right. And so we all know inflation has just taken off, wages haven't kept up. So we came up with an idea to write some grants, look around, see what we could find. And we found that there are places out around the state that were more than happy to help us find school supplies for our kids and teachers. And so we have just been collecting them. So Dr. Pollard graciously gave us a PD room. We have turned it into this. And as of last Thursday, we have given away over $35,000 worth of school supplies and teacher supplies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressed.
And we have more coming in.
There's more pictures as you scroll through.
So you can see we're located at the primary building. The transition class at the high school, Mrs. Wither's class, has been coming in the mornings, working with me to stock it, make it look like something better than a garage sale. And because at the beginning it was a little messy, we've sorted everything. We've made it very easy to go through. We now have an online ordering system where all a teacher has to do is go online to the Gatesville website, click on the order form, put in exactly what they want, hit submit. It comes to me, I bring it to the transition class, they fill it, and then on Fridays they deliver it directly to the teacher. Teacher doesn't even have to get out of their classroom. There's also a place on the order form where there's a wish list. So if there's something specifically that the teacher is looking for, Pam and I can pull our resources and try and find it for them. Our goal is to whittle down the supply list to 0. May not happen for a year or two, but that's our goal.
We'll have it open through March, and then at March we'll close down and then get ready for August for the start of school. So.
Yes.
Y'all brought back some big items too. Have you some kind of unique? What are some of the more unique items y'all brought back?
We have brought back a
Desk.
desk, shelving,
Teacher
fabric.
desks, fabric for the theater arts.
Theater arts, we brought back wood, lumber,
So it's not just glue sticks and no,
No.
it's some big stuff.
it's all kinds of things. I mean,
Headphones,
whatever
yes.
you would, I'm sorry?
We had headphones donated.
Oh, we did. We had 700 sets of brand new Logitech headphones worth about $150 each. So each child at the intermediate school has their own set of headphones. Yeah. So,
That's amazing.
About, can I ask you, how much was, this might not be my place, about how much was the grant given to y'all? How much was it?
oh, that wasn't a
This
grant.
isn't a grant.
We just asked.
Yes, this is just donation basis and places that we found.
And then when we ask them, we go, it's hard to tell Michelle no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now
But we
Calvin,
have a
they've
lot
got
local
an
that
item
help
coming
us
up
as well, so.
that's gonna be,
Oh,
they have another item.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the other
That
one will
be next.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be
that's fine.
next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
So anyway, and then we also work with the Boys and Girls Club. They save things for us. We kind of tell them, oh, well, we have the intermediate. They want to equip their 6th grade students with, you know, the zipper binders, the trapper keepers for us old people. And so we have started saving those, and you know, we have about 50 so far. So it's just kind of, we're just working with people that if teachers tell us what they're looking for, then we try to help them out.
That's great.
Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? It's really been a win-win for everyone, especially the transition kids. They're learning some real-life job experiences, and they are so good, and just they're such a sweet group of kids to work with. We really enjoy it. Okay?
Guys, thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
All right, Tasby Energy Cooperative.
Hello, everybody. Gatesville ISD is part of the TASB Fuel Cooperative. So we get our fuel in a fuel pool. It's hard for me to say fuel pool altogether. And so we are part of TASB for a year, and we have been part of TASB's fuel pool for several years. And so I, by law, have to tell you that how much fees we paid for to be part of that fuel pool each year. So we got our report for the 22-23 school year this past month, so a year ago. And in that year, we bought 50,000 gallons of fuel, and we had to pay a fee of $2,000 to be part of that cooperative. So it was part of our amount we paid per gallon. So it's not a bill or it's not an invoice, but it is by law. I'm supposed to tell you that we spent $2,000 in fees in that 22-23 school year with our 50,000 gallons of fuel. So that was it. Any questions on that? Okay.
Thanks, Leanne.
All right, our attorney report on delinquent taxes.
Yes, Attorney Robert Meyer is here with us again this year, and he is here to present our report, our annual report on the collection of delinquent taxes for us.
Thank you, Dr. Pollard and members of the board. I'm Robert Myers. I'm an attorney with the McCray Law Firm. Also here with Nick Getchy, who's also an attorney with the firm. And I was explaining to Nick that this is the exciting event, the main event for the school board is every year to have our annual report for property tax collection for the board. So he's really in for an exciting adventure for the rest of the evening. I do want to take just a moment to say that Nick is joining us tonight because at the end of this year, I'll be retiring from our firm, and Nick will be the attorney from our firm that will be helping to collect the district's taxes. I've been doing this for the district since 1987.
Well, let's give him a hand.
And I just want to say, for each and every year that I've had the the privilege to represent you. I appreciate very much working with the people over here in Gatesville. My office is in Waco, and I think a meeting or two ago I told you how I started out. I think Rufus, that was down the street, Rufus King was a tax assessor collector, and we had the old books and manuals and things back there that we checked things, and we've come a long way. Nick and I just left Justin Carruthers' tax office at his new digs down the street, and we've got a great tax office, great tax assessor collector, and for that reason you have great tax collections. But I just want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to work with you so this many years, and I know Nick will do a great job to maintain the high collection of property taxes that the district has. So I'll briefly go through our collection report for you, and again, if you have any questions, just holler, and I'll try to make this quick because I know this is similar. The good news, and I'm going to go to the first chart on page 1. The good news is that really this is very similar to the report you had last year, which was a good report. And this first chart just shows the district's last 5 tax levies compared to the total amount of taxes, penalties, interest collected. The blue bar being the actual taxes that were levied, the yellow being the actual taxes, penalties, interest collected. And typically in the past year, it's been the same. The district actually collects more property taxes than it levies each year. For example, last year in 2023, you levied $9,599,000, about $9.6 million. You collected $9,675,000, for over $75,000 more than your levy, and that's because the added in delinquent collections and the penalties and interest go along with it. And that was 100.79% of your levy. And as I've reported to you for each of the last 4 years prior to then, you collected over 100% of your levy in each of those years. And as I've mentioned to you, I think a couple things there. That's a healthy sign in the community. It shows that people are conscientious about paying their taxes. I think what drives tax collections is the ability of people to pay, and that means people have jobs, they have money, they have resources, and they're conscious about spending the money where they need to spend it, first of all, to take care of their property tax collections, which makes it a very easy job for us to work on a few straggler accounts that are turned over to us each year. And it's a healthy sign of the economy and of the people in the district. I think they'll be commended for that. The next chart on the next page, same 5 years, but this is the actual levy, the balance of levy of each of those years' taxes. And for last year, you levied $9,599,000. Of that $9,599,000 without penalties, without prior year's taxes included, you collected $99,426,000, which is 98.2% of your taxes. That's a pretty high, what we call current collection percentage. And to date, the other taxes that were levied for the prior 4 years before last year, you collected over 99% of those to date. So a very, very small percentage of your taxes go unpaid. There are instances where people who are either infirm or they're senior citizens, I actually have to say I probably crossed over that line some time ago, that can actually defer the collection of their taxes, and that's included in those unpaid taxes because they're not required by law to pay them. But except for those, the district virtually collects every dime that's levied for the district. And starting on page 4, this is the first of 4 pie charts. Mr. Frazier always wanted 4. I usually give 3, but he always wanted 4, so you get an extra one, as you usually do. And these pie charts show how we interconnect with your tax collections. Every year in July, you turn over to us the unpaid taxes from the prior year. So this pie chart, these are the 2023 taxes that you levied last year that were actually due and payable by the end of January of this year, but were delinquent as of July 1. The balance of taxes delinquent as of July 1 are turned over to us. And at that time, you turned over to us $283,000 in taxes from your 2023 levy. And we collected in just 2 months 39% of that amount, or $111,000. And the balance of those taxes, we are continuing to contact your property owners and work with them to try to get those taxes collected. The other pie charts on the next page, these are the taxes you turned over to us in the prior years. The top pie chart, these are the 2022s that you turned over to us last year in '23. And 14 months ago, we collected 69% of those. As you can see, the 2021s you turned over to us, over 80% of those taxes that were turned over to us have been collected. And finally, the 2020 taxes, we collected nearly 88% of those taxes, or over 87%. You can see when the green wedge gets bigger and the other wedges get smaller, that's a very good sign for the district. And we continue to work with your taxpayers to make sure. One thing I might note, if I could just maybe get the superintendent to go back to, I don't know how much people worry about things like this, to the next chart, the first chart, second chart, either one of those will work. No, keep going back with Doc, right there. And if you look at the table at the bottom of that page, cursor up a little bit to get the table. There's a table on the bottom of that, Dr. Pollard. By the way, I've listed the actual levies for the district. You know, in 2023, there was a huge change to your property taxes. One was that the legislature authorized an additional homestead exemption for all of our property owners, resident homestead, went from $40,000 to $100,000 to $60,000 increase. And there was what we call tax rate compression. Your tax rates were shoved back down. I'm sure the legislature generously reimbursed the district to make sure all those reduction in taxes you were reimbursed by the Texas Education Agency. But your levy last year was $9,599,000. The year before it was $11,894,000. So it came down over $2 million. You had $10 million plus in 2021. So that's what, when we talk about what's happened in the legislature, it really has an impact. I know Mr. Frazier and Leanna's been watching all those numbers, and Dr. Pollard's watching all those numbers, because your local taxes are really going down. At least they were last year. And that means that hopefully your state matching funds will be reimbursing you for that reduction. But that's what all that's about. And I've seen that with a lot of school districts. When we looked at their 23 levies, they have really, really come down because of two reasons. Tax rate compression, they required you to reduce your M&O rate, and they gave extra exemptions for people so you had less taxes. And a couple other tax saving things that they threw in the mix of all that. So I just thought I'd just point that out to you, that that's really, really happening. And hopefully that's a good thing for our taxpayers. I'll go on to page 8, how we go about collecting your taxes. We send out throughout the year, you schedule this usually with tax assessor collector, Mr. Carruthers, to send out notices. And last year we sent out over nearly 800 notices to your taxpayers who had not had their taxes paid, informing them that we're the attorneys that represent the district and asking them to make prompt payment. We have a staff member who's located in Justin's office. She has an office within there. She works for us. So when they contact his office, they can talk directly to one of our staff members to work through delinquencies. In a lot of ways, that's how we get about collecting your taxes. We reach out to them, we talk to them, letters to them, make phone calls, and people don't pay their taxes usually because they're ornery. There's usually some financial situation or illness or something that's preventing the family from getting the taxes paid. And we try to figure that out and see if we can't structure some way that they can't pay it all at one time. Can they pay it out over a reasonable period of time? So that we have the dual mandate of making sure we get your taxes collected as quickly as we can. But we realize that these people are many times the parents of your children or other members of the community, and I think you want us to afford them as much opportunity as we possibly can if they're having some financial circumstances. But we get that done, and we still get the taxes paid in a really timely way to make sure you have the money to fund the teaching of the kids. Page 9, we do file lawsuits. We have filed 45 lawsuits in the last year. There's 125 people involved in those lawsuits, actually defendants, on 71 properties with $150,000. Most of the time, the lawsuits are resolved through payment of the taxes, and the lawsuits are dismissed. Again, our staff works with the taxpayers when they actually have a suit filed. Suits filed in district court, Coryell County, or serve with citation. And they're only filed after you give them plenty of notices to do that. There are a lot of properties out there that are just really holding the earth together. And so that's what a lot of these lawsuits are about, vacant and abandoned properties or airship issues where there's complexities and taxes don't get paid. Very rarely do we actually have some meaningful persons that get sued as to their home and everything. But we do file lawsuits to recover your taxes. In the bottom of that page, We've been to court and we recovered out of the 45 lawsuits, 7 judgments to further the collection process on those. And finally, on the last page, we had just one tax down last year where one property was sold. It was a vacant house that no one was desirous to retain it. And we do file claims in bankruptcy when the property owners do file bankruptcy. And the last thing I'll mention is, I've reported to you in the past, and this is the next page, Dr. Pollard. You're doing a great job over there. Is in addition to our tax collection services, the way the legislature, with the Texas Education Agency, funds the school district is the more taxes you get, the less state aid you get. So there's a balance there. Well, every school district loses taxes throughout the year through adjustments to the tax roll, and through late homestead exemptions or other things that the legislature allows people to apply for aid. And so what we do is we come in and we do an audit of your tax values for prior years, and showing the legislature that back, for example, in 2016, that actually the district wasn't as valuable to go based on value as you were back then, and we file audits of your property values for each year, and then the district is reimbursed. So far, over the last years I've listed there, we've recovered over $386,000 in additional state aid, since we've told the legislature, hey, that the district didn't have as much value on the roll and was entitled to more state aid because you weren't really had as large levy as you did. We had filed a audit for 2021. It actually shows that the 2021 value dropped $21 million, $22 million, and that's been Dr. Pollard, I think, has signed off on that. That's been processed through the comptroller's office, the TEA. In the next probably 3 to 6 months, they'll be redoing your state aid and sending you some additional aid for the reduction in the value for 2021. We are usually, yes, ma'am.
Will they send all of that?
Well, it's $22 million in value, and that accounts to probably in the neighborhood of maybe $90,000 to $100,000 in levy. And we'll send you $22 million. Yeah, that
No,
would,
I don't think that much.
boy, happy days would be here again.
Mm-hmm.
Those are values. When we do an audit, we look at what was the taxable value of the school district, and that's what TEA looks. What was the taxable value of the district as of September 1, or when the values are certified each year, and they use that to calculate your the district state aid through the year based on the value. The more value you have, which obviously you're going to higher levy, the less state aid you get. When your value comes down, your state aid goes up, and that's what we're doing. So, for example, in 2020, you got $110,000 extra state aid because your value dropped. 2019, you got $91,000. So we filed an audit for 2021 with a $22 million value reduction, and those reductions that the appraisal district does because of corrections and adjustments to the tax roll after you actually have certification and levy. And we do that on a regular basis. We have a program that monitors those values, and we usually run those audits on a regular basis to make sure you maximize your state aid that you're entitled to.
Is that done within all the districts in the state, and is it comparable for each?
Well, it should be. They should require, I don't want to take too much time here, but if you ask me, they should require appraisal districts, because what we have to do is go down to the appraisal district and say, okay, for example, for 2021, what was your value as of certification for 2021? October 1 of 2021, your taxes roll. What's the value for the 2021 Gatesville appraisal roll right now, as of right now? And it's $22 million in value less. But I think the law to be is every appraisal district ought to annually let the legislature know, let TEA know how much value, because everybody loses value. Everybody virtually loses value, but they don't. You have to just do it on an ad hoc basis. It's not done automatically. So for all of our clients, our firm, as a regular basis, and if we represent you in property tax collections, one of our property value services is we file these audits. We had a gentleman who worked for the comptroller's office for about 20 years doing this on their end, and he contacts all of our school district clients and their appraisal districts and files audits for them. But it's not done It's not done automatically around the state for every school district in the state of Texas. It's just if a school district has somebody file an audit for them. You have to file the audit, fill audit forms, do some calculations on their things, and send it to the comptroller's office, and just make sure they accept it. So, it's just something we just do in addition to the soft procedure we have for you guys.
So if a school district doesn't do it, or doesn't have somebody
Yes.
advocate for them?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of school districts that don't do it, that don't have it done for them. There's a lot of money left on the table. There really
So
is.
the money goes back, or isn't
Well, it
sent?
stays in Austin.
Stays, so, okay.
I'm sure they have very good uses of it, as opposed to parceling it out to the school districts that's supposed to get the money in the first place.
Robert, from your industry standpoint, have you heard any more about the governor trying to do away with property taxes and going towards a higher sales tax?
Yeah, I think that's a wish list. I mean, I think that's
pie in the sky.
It really is pie in the sky. There's way too many billions of dollars involved in trying to replace property taxes for school districts. They have, as I'm just pointing out to you, they have compressed your roll. I mean, normally, if you look before then, your levy was going up every year, which is normal because your values are going up, your levy's going up. But last year, they made a major overhaul and they increased the homestead exemption and they dropped your tax rate substantially and mandated that. And that's I've seen that across the board. But I don't think there's anybody. The trick is you I know, and every school administrator's worried about is the legislature going to have the money to fund this reduction that they've been doing now for the last 5 years or more, 6 years I guess now, since 2019 or so. They've been really pushing compression of the rate. And last year they added to it the additional homestead exemption, which really reduced the rate down there a whole lot. As you can see, you lost $2.5 million in levy. And theoretically, the state made it up. But is the state going to be able to maintain that? If the state ever runs into financial hardships, we have some sort of economic crisis or something, and they've been known to do that. And so I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll probably continue to push rate compression, and you'll have reduction, maybe, or leveling off of your levies. Values are leveling off, so levies are leveling off too. But thank you for allowing me to come every year and visit with you and work on your taxes through the last number of years. And I know that Nick will do a great job assisting you in any property tax matters that you have.
Good luck in your retirement.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we'll move to items that require a vote. And the first one is New York City trip.
Bonnie Latham is here. Bonnie, we pitched on Bonnie's behalf a few months ago a trip to historic Boston for the summer of 2025. Well, for purposes of planning, she really needs to kind of get going if they're going to do another trip in the summer of 2026 to New York City. She wanted to come to you guys and give her layout and plan for what she was thinking.
I do. Thank you all for having me. I'm going to pass these like typical teacher here. Take one, pass it down. I think that's enough. This is just a quick printout I gave for the New York City tour. It's just like the Boston trip. It's a 5-day. It can be 4 to 6. I just choose 5 because I feel like that's the most comprehensive amount of time to be in the city that we go to and to see all the things that are offered. And it's not as huge of like a rush, I feel like on that 4th day to try to like, on the 5th day you can kind of get up and go somewhere, have lunch, go to the airport. You know what I mean? Because on that 4th day, if you're flying back, it's really more only like 3.5 days that you get in the city. So I've had huge success, honestly, with the sign up for Boston, more so than I ever thought. I was hoping to get 15 to 20 kids to sign up for Boston for this coming June of 25, and we have 30 currently signed up. So I actually have a lot of sophomores mad at me because we said for the Boston trip only juniors and seniors. So I am asking for the New York trip to get opened up to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. But we have a behavioral contract and all 30 of them have signed it. And this is us, not EF. This is through GHS. And it's your typical stuff. Good academic standing, good behavioral standing, obviously no legal or criminal charges pending, good attendance, and then it explains kind of during your trip, be a good kid, don't do anything crazy. We have a great group of kids signed up right now for it, and I'm just looking forward to, hopefully with your approval and permission, continue these trips each summer. Like I said, the students have had, they're excited about it. We've had great feedback on it, and again, almost double the sign up that I was really, truly expecting for Boston. So.
And the price per student?
So for New York or Boston, which one?
Either.
The
general.
So it's about 3,000 is typically what it is per student. When you really, for Boston, I think it was, $2,700 or so. But once you kind of tack on traveler's insurance, which most want, because you're planning so far out, and it gives them just that much more kind of financial security. And so most of them pay for the better version of the traveler's insurance that EF offers, and then the enrollment fee, which is like $95. When you kind of start tacking all of that on, you're looking at about $3,000. The great thing about EF that I love is, number one, they've been around forever. They've been around for like 30, 40 years. They're the most trusted educational travel agency. They've got people all over the country, all over the world. Almost every single person that works for them that are tour leaders are prior educators. Where was I going with this? That's right. They offer, it's 0%. They don't charge interest on their, you can set up on a payment. They don't charge any interest. And they even have like kind of a GoFundMe type setup through their company that a kid can like share on their social media, or parents can share on social media and say, hey, like instead of Christmas presents or birthday presents, would you give to, London's trip to Boston or New York or whatever. And so they have a lot of built-in ways to help support families and kids to be able to get to go too, which is also a big reason why I like them. But yeah, New York looks fun. I'm excited about, I qualified for a training tour that I'm going to through EF in January, and I chose to go to New York because I want to take the kids on this trip in summer of 2026, so I'm excited to go in January. Hopefully it's not too freezing cold, and come back with a better understanding. I've never been to New York, so I'm excited to get to go and get a feel for the city. And I've been to Boston, that's why I felt like that was a pretty good city to go to for the first go around, because I've been there and I felt like, okay, not like I have some kind of lay of the land extensively, but I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Do you have other questions for Bonnie?
So the money that the kids pay, is this strictly, you all have a fundraiser, or are they strictly coming from the parents?
The expectation is very much it's coming from the parents. I actually emailed the entire group about fundraising, and I got about 10 back that were interested in doing some type of fundraising, and the other 20 were like, we get that this is our responsibility, we don't want to do any kind of fundraising, we're making the payments. Nope. They didn't want to participate in it. I think because the understanding is that, this is just something extra that I'm paying for my kid to get to do, and there's not an expectation there of the school trying to provide something. I did apply for the foundation grant. I didn't get it this year, but I plan on hopefully reapplying each year and maybe getting some money to help maybe build like a scholarship fund, or kind of divvy it out, some kind of way to maybe help a kid out truly that maybe cannot financially afford it. But overall, the expectation is not there for the school to provide any type of financial aid.
I think my big concern is if you have a senior that has graduated, been taken on a school trip and they misbehave, do some things they shouldn't do. Because what control does the school have?
Well, we have a behavioral contract that states like, and EF even says that if they get in trouble, we and they have the ability to say, here's the airport, figure out how to get home. And you know, I mean, obviously parents would be called and that's like worst case scenario, but when they sign this contract, they understand that prior to the trip, the kid has to be, again, in good academic standing, good behavioral standing. There's no legal criminal charges against them, good attendance standing. They understand the expectations during the trip of their behavior, and at the bottom it states very clearly, like, you screw up on this trip, and we have the right to literally go send you home on your parents' dime. And so I think that, you know, the students that we have that are gonna go and meet these qualifications to begin with aren't going to be the type that get there and
I agree with that.
That's what I was gonna say.
act a
like, these are
fool.
your-
Yeah.
I mean, any kid can mess up, but these are your more responsible children.
Yeah. I think for the most part.
So your first round of this is this summer.
Yes, sir.
So it'll be interesting. You'll know a lot more.
Yes, I will. The people that I've worked with through EF have been phenomenal. They've been incredibly supportive. Anytime I have a question, they're right. I mean, it's lots of Zoom meetings have been had, and they are great.
Bonnie, do you have any other adult supervision that goes with you?
Oh gosh, yes. So on domestic travel, for every 10 students, we have a free chaperone spot that opens up. So right now, since we're at 30, we have me plus 2 more that are getting to go. Plus EF has a group leader that is with us at all times.
I'd be more than happy to volunteer.
You're not the first person that's told me that. I know, I'm gonna have to figure out potentially some kind of like teacher lottery. It's quite funny the jokes that have been made about how to get on the Boston trip with Bonnie through the staff. But yeah, it's yes, absolutely. No, I would feel very uncomfortable if they said, hey Bonnie, yeah, do a tour and take 30 kids by yourself somewhere. No. So no, there will be 3 Gatesville ISD as of right now educators plus the EF representative. So there's 4 adults to those 30 kids.
And security at night.
And security, yes. There's security provided at night. I mean, there is, security makes head counts every night. They watch the hallway. I mean, again, that's why I love EF, they are a well-oiled machine because they've been doing it for 40, 50 years now. And I mean, EF offered tours when I was in high school, so it's pretty great.
Bonnie's recommendation is that the board approve the proposed out-of-state trip to New York City for the summer of 2026.
Any further discussion? So here a motion, okay, Mary Ann, second by Linda. Further discussion? All in favor? Okay, that's approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
School pantry.
I think y'all need another project or two to do.
Don't tempt us.
Yeah.
You just never know what will come up with. I want to pass it along.
I don't.
Did you have it? That's down the road somewhere.
We didn't put it. So we'll just go pass that out instead.
Okay. So about a year ago, I came across something and I thought, oh, I'll apply for it. It'll never happen. You know,
I applied for it, forgot all about it. And then last week I got this phone call from DC, and I never answer anything that, you know, the number that I don't know. So I just went about my merry way. And then I got another phone call, and it said, Michelle, we would like to offer you the opportunity to have a district pantry. And I went, what? And so what this is, it's a new program from the Department of Agriculture, and they would like for us to put a pantry in Gatesville ISD free of charge. They are willing to purchase a commercial freezer, a commercial refrigerator, shelving, and twice a month deliver fresh fruit, vegetables, dairy and meat, and canned goods to us. About 3,500 pounds. And I said, okay, what do I have to do? And they said, it's really up to you how you want to set it up. And they said, really, it's, you know, if you want to offer it just to district families, you want to offer it to district employees, you don't have to offer it to the community. You can just keep it within the district. And so we started talking about it, and we would like for you all to vote for us to do this. Dr. Pollard has graciously agreed to give us the 2 remaining staff development classrooms at the primary and turn it into a grocery store. The only caveat that we have is we have to have a temperature-controlled room that we can lock, and we have to set up the store like a grocery store, where you can come in and pick your own food. And we would like to make it like a perk for our staff and our families. And we would like to have our transition kids and maybe some of our wings kids run the store so that they would learn more life skills, lessons. We can partner with the Texas Workforce Commission to offer them some CTE credits. We can, there's just a lot of stuff we can do.
They can build skills also, just to take with them as they're transitioning out of high school and out into the workforce too. So they're learning it from that end as well.
The rationale for looking at employees instead of like all the student body, we've already got, Daryl McWhorter does a great job with the food pantry.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, that might open up also a security issue for us too. If we had men and people coming up here wanting to get a, you know, the rationale behind it for being employees, our backpack program where there are backpacks of food that go home in the afternoon, that some of our families that get that work for us, cafeteria ladies and paraprofessionals, aides, and so there's a lot of folks that even, I think Leanne did this on a new teacher, if she's a single mom and has more than one child, she's below the poverty level.
Yeah.
And so because of the extreme inflation, I think as a perk, the employees would love this, to be able to go in there and get, as expensive as food is, so that's kind of the reasoning.
It would actually help because the backpack program that we already have in place, we do 60 of them, so that's 60 families. We have to come up with the money, or find donors to come up with the money to pay for that food. We pay 19 cents a pound for that food. And if we use the food from this program, it's free.
Do you get to order what you want? Do they send you a list like they do at the care center?
I really don't know. That is something that after we sign the letter of understanding, I can sit down with her and ask her these things.
Okay.
We wanted to get from y'all tonight the broad approval to kind
Yes.
of pursue this.
I just need y'all's approval to sit down and talk with her. But the cool thing is, it's not gonna cost anything.
So you're gonna work out some sort of plan for someone who makes this amount can get so much, or what?
Well, that's the neat thing. They're giving us the opportunity to set it up however
Yeah.
we want. We can offer it to whomever we want.
We can make referrals with
We
them
can
too.
make referrals within the school district. If a teacher comes to us and says, hey, I've got this family, we know they're having a tough time. Can they come to the pantry? Yes. Or if I have another principal say, hey, you know, I've got Joan over here, they're having a tough time, can she come? Yes. We're not gonna turn anyone down.
Well, how much can you, or that is to be determined too, how much you can
It's to
take
be
each
determined.
visit?
There is a system that they have in place, and from what I understand, you would get a card, a color-coded card, that would say you could get 3 of the purple items,
Oh, I see.
3 of the blue items, but you would go up and down the aisles like you're shopping, and you would choose
Yes.
3 of those. And if you didn't want those 3 purple things, you wouldn't have to take them. But we would have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, meat, dairy, things that are expensive.
Biggest problem they have at the care center is, number one, is when a truck is delivered.
Mm-hmm.
You just get enough people in there to unload that truck. And then you've got to put it on the shelving, get it out where it's available.
Right.
But of course, down there, they make boxes, so then you've got to pull boxes and
Right.
put everything into the boxes so that people can pick it up when they come in. But-
We know we've got
Yeah.
some issues to
Logistically,
work
we got a
out.
lot of things to work out, but.
Well, I think that it's very, very, very unique, and I would certainly support giving you the opportunity to sit down with that person and plan, and then come back to us and tell us what you came up with. So.
I would say, why not?
Are there
What do you have to
other,
lose? You know, I think it's great.
Are there
Are there
other
other schools?
places already taking advantage of this?
Yes.
And maybe that's an outlet for you to find out more information?
Yes.
Of how
there-
they work theirs and whether the problems that come up.
Yes.
I would say that starting with free food, there'll be some problems, but it's free food and people need it. So
Yes.
I'm like Charles,
They
I would-
did
I would
tell
explore
me
it for sure.
Bastrop is the one that they did tell me about. And I'm sure there are other schools, but that was just the one that they kind of gave me an example of.
And it's working well there.
And it's working well for them. And this is a program of the Department of Agriculture.
They have moved us up on the list as well, so it's a decision that if we're gonna commit, we have to commit pretty quickly to.
Let's go, let's do it.
with,
Are y'all
um,
excited?
Yes.
We're very
Yeah,
excited.
this is
We're
that's what
really
matters.
good.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
And
It's a
you've
good
got
challenge.
your workers lined up?
well,
You
we
said
have some
trans-
ideas
Mhm.
and,
And
That's
definitely
the
have
issue
some
is
student
keep-
groups that we could pull from
Just
that
get
would
it
help
staffed.
build with their academics as well too.
yeah. We're thinking we could kind of pull some of our high school students in and kind of help them along the way.
On the
Gain
CTE
some- on the
business path as
CTE,
well, on the
yeah.
entrepreneurship.
And work some more with the Texas Workforce Commission to help them because they have some programs that we can feed into for our students.
I don't think you can find people who volunteer in the community.
And like they said, two of our pathways, business and hospitality, those seniors need practicums, and so they can work that store.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, their recommendation is that we accept the grant and enter into an agreement with the Central Texas Food Bank for the Feeding Future School Pantry Program.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Calvin, and a second by Charlie. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, go for it, Michelle.
It will all be called the Stinger Stash, so.
Stinger Stash.
All the different
stores
stores.
together. So.
That's the only thing we figured out.
All right, copier contract.
Well, copiers are no fun to talk about, especially after going after that. That's exciting. If any of y'all know, our copier service is going out at the end of this month, so we have to get a new one. And if you talk to anybody on the campuses, you know that copiers are a high priority and a top thing. So Mr. Frazier was very good and diligent about taking care of the copy machine, so I have big shoes to fill trying to help with that. So I want to give you a recommendation. We've been working really hard on this to try and come up with the best plan, and it has 3 pieces to it, so bear with me because we got to go through all 3 pieces. So the first one is a service agreement. So our service agreement that ends at the end of this month is what we spend to have a third party come in and service our copiers all the time and keep them running. And so we are looking at, and we are recommending that we go straight through Xerox. Right now we have a third party that we go to, and then they call Xerox, and Xerox comes in. And so we are wanting to skip the middleman and work straight with Xerox, and it is going to save us some money. So right now we spend over $1,000 a month for our 38 copiers that are in our fleet to be serviced, and this will, going straight through Xerox, is going to take us down to $700 a month to service and keep them running and keep them going. So I think that's a good one. I thought that was a great addition to our new contract if we take it. The second part of it is we have 11 copiers in that fleet that are out of service, end of life. No one will service them anymore. We have to get rid of them. And so we have to replace those 11 copiers with newer copiers. So what we are proposing is that we lease those 11 copiers over a 5-year, 60-month lease. That would be also the same as the service agreement. Instead of buying them. We feel like we are going to get a better product. We feel like we're going to get better service if we lease them. And so that is the second prong of this, is that we are wanting to lease copiers from Xerox. We would get brand new copiers. We would have them for the 5 years. We would pay $2,000 a month, $2,042, to lease them. But at the end of that 5 years, they are taken away and we get 5 new brand new ones. So right now we have half of our fleet of copiers are over 12 years old, and they're giving us lots of problems. And so besides the 11 we have to get rid of, we've got some that are on their third life, so to speak. So if we go with the leasing, then as time goes on, all of our copiers will be 5 years or less old. And so we're hoping that that will give us some better quality in our copy machines, as well as we're hoping that Xerox will take better care of them because they belong to them, and when they get done with us, they're going to try to sell them to somebody else. So that is our second part of our proposal, is that we would like to lease the 11 copiers we need instead of purchasing them. And then the third piece of this is a Google Drive subscription. And so what that means is we would buy this subscription, and it would last for 5 years. And it means our teachers can do everything from their Google Drive right at the copy machine. So they don't have to go to their computer and print or anything. They can log right onto the copy machine. They can do anything they need to do, print, copy, scan, all those things. So our technology department is really pushing. They would like to see that Google Drive option if at all possible, because it's going to be very convenient for our teachers to be able to work directly at the copy machines instead of running back to their classroom, doing what they need to do, running back. So we have 3 pieces to that. So if you look at that schedule, that 5-year schedule I gave you, We will spend $24,865 each year for the next 5 years. That includes the 11 leased new copiers and servicing the 38 total fleet every month. And then this year, we would pay $18,000 to own that Google Drive subscription for the next 5 years. So it would cost us $43,000 this year, and then $24,865 for the next 4 years to do this. We did have $70,000 for just the purchase of the new 11 in the new budget, so this is going to save us some money on the budget this year. That was not including the lease amount that we already have to service them all. So we would be saving money in this school year. This would also help us budget. From now on, we could just budget a certain amount for copiers in our budget every year, then instead of every 5 years saying, oh gosh, we're going to need $70,000 extra. So this is what we're recommending for our copier service and for our new copiers and for the Google Drive subscription. So any questions? I know that's a lot.
Do we still have someone to run the copy machine for the teachers?
I think everybody has a workroom aide. Is that?
We have a worker.
There are people at each campus that kind of take that on. And,
so in the case this teacher comes in, copies, and then the next one, et cetera, you have someone that will do that they'll turn it in.
well, intermediate, Angie, y'all have got somebody.
Our ISS paraprofessional, we moved one of the copy machines into the ISS room so that when she doesn't have students, or even when she does have students, she can be working on that kind of as a dual purpose. But that was something new this year.
Yeah, a lot of the campuses, you're kind of on your own. I mean, you've got to go in there, and that's why they take a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah.
Well, it will help that they're not old.
Yes, there's nothing worse than an old copier because it breaks down constantly and it just infuriates the teachers.
Yes.
Because it's a real nuisance.
And
I
they're
think
very necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think in the past, the copiers that we have bought have been used, and so they already get to us on their second life, so to speak, second and third life.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
do I hear a
way we'll
motion?
have first life.
Yes.
We'll have first life all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Do we have a motion? Okay, Mary Ann, second by Linda. Further discussion?
No, but congratulations on your grandchild.
Thank you.
Oh.
Very excited.
All in favor? All right.
Thank you all very much.
They want to complain, we'll go get them our old purple copy.
That's right.
All right, shack
You
time.
wouldn't even know anything about it.
Student Health Advisory.
It's time to approve.
I know what a typewriter is though, okay? I'm doing good for my generation.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was enjoying hearing the stories. It's time to approve the SHAC committee members for the 24-25 school year. This is something the school board does annually. There are 10 names on the list that will be the official Student Health Advisory Committee members. The meetings are open to the public. Anyone can attend, but we are required to have an actual committee of people. And it's my recommendation to approve the SHAC committee members for the 24-25 school year as listed on the sheet. I'll answer any questions yet?
Hear a motion? Okay, Charlie. Okay, second. Got it? Okay. Further discussion?
All these folks volunteered?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did.
One of them was asking.
No, I didn't volunteer, to be honest with you. I'm just playing.
One of them was asking me questions about it. I had no idea.
Yeah. Who was that?
A Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was the most one that was kind of like, and I said, just you can attend if you can make it. If you can't, and she said, okay.
I told her it's not a big time commitment.
It's not.
The biggest thorn when I was on the shack is deciding what sex ed curriculum.
Oh.
That's always the biggie. And that looks like you've got some really good people on there.
We do. We do. It's a very good group of people for sure.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, it passes.
Thank you.
All right. Time of year when we have to nominate somebody for the Coryell County Appraisal District Board. Last few times we've been nominating Andy James. And Andy was a 2006 graduate of Gatesville, and a good guy. He's worked at Front Porch Realty and done some other things, and so if y'all want to go with him again, we need to nominate by resolution one candidate for the position. We have, as an entity, 745 votes, and later on they'll calculate all the votes and see who serves on the board. The board has been pretty stable. It's Justin Crothers, Brady Diaz, Inez Faison, and Andy James, and Jay Manning. So it's been a pretty stable crew. So my recommendation is that we nominate Andy James by resolution for appointment to the board of directors for the CAD.
Hear a motion? Okay, Cheyenne, second. Mr. Hobson, anybody have any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
All right. Well, Linda and Charles are such good candidates for the board. Everyone else was scared to run. And so we need to have a declaration here that we've got a certificate of unopposed candidates. So at the July board meeting, you guys had called for an election for the purposes of electing 2 trustees. And but during the sign-up period, only our 2 incumbents, Charles Alderson and Linda Maxwell, filed for a place on the ballot. No challengers filed, so thus there's no longer a need for an election. So to initiate the cancellation process, I hereby certify that Charles Alderson and Linda Maxwell are unopposed for election to office for the election scheduled to be held on November 5th, 2024. Therefore, I recommend the board receive and accept the certification that Charles and Linda are running unopposed for the election of the 2 trustee positions scheduled for November 5th.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Mr. Hobson and Mr. Ford. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right.
Now that you have certified that, given that the board has received and accepted the certification that Charles Alderson and Linda Maxwell are running unopposed for those 2 trustee positions on November 5th, I recommend that the board issue an order declaring the election canceled and the unopposed candidates elected. If approved, the certificates of election would then be issued at the November board meeting. And McKenzie and I have been talking to Justin Crothers, and this is all kosher. This is how you did it. It was back, I think 2014 was the last time that there was an unopposed. So it's been 10 years. So I recommend we cancel the election scheduled to be held on November 5th in accordance with section 2.053A of the Texas Election Code by adopting the order of cancellation, and hereby elect Charles Alderson and Linda Maxwell as school trustees.
Do I hear a motion? Lloyd, do I hear a second? Okay, Cheyenne. All in favor? All opposed?
Might as well.
Yeah, it's unanimous. They voted for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to an executive session at 6:42.